Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chairman Walsh, I want to see if I put a cap on this discussion between Senator Warren and Senator Rounds. When will you disclose who brought your assets? When?
I believe there's periodic requirements under the ethics laws, and I'll fully comply with them. I think the next reporting requirement is at some point in the next quarter or so.
And you will fully disclose who you sold your assets to?
I'll fully comply with the law and the ethics agreement.
Thank you. AI is making a huge impact on everything we do, particularly the banking system. And as you're aware, an interagency governmental group, Commerce, Treasury, Energy, et cetera, has authorized the major banks, the 8 major banks, to use Mythos to evaluate their security. Would you agree that it's important for all financial institutions to have access to these types of AI tools so that they could analyze their operations for cyber vulnerabilities?
Yes, I think the broad financial system has new vulnerabilities with these new technologies. I wouldn't want to just isolate Mythos, though. The other large language models have rival products. The changes, the efficient frontier has changed even in the last month. But as these new models find their way more broadly, our banking system and, frankly, the Federal Reserve needs to do all we can to patch any vulnerabilities that we have.
What are you doing to ensure that these mid-size and smaller banking institutions have access to whatever AI tool is appropriate as quickly as possible?
Yeah, so I share the sentiment, Senator Reid. We are not the deciders as to who has access, but I have not been shy in sharing my views with authorities across the government about the vulnerabilities and have been asking for access, not just for the Federal Reserve, but for other institutions, to a whole range of these new artificial intelligence models so that they can protect themselves. If you said to me what worries you over the course of the next several months, I want to make sure that we're as protected as we can be from foreign actors that want to do us harm.
Well, let me stay with AI, but change the focus a moment. Recently, Governor Waller and New York Fed President John Williams have warned that AI investments may be increasing inflation, and many economists have similar warnings. So are AI investments current drivers of inflation?
This is one of the good family fights. Let me give my own view on it, which might be somewhat nuanced from the way you just described it and some of my colleagues. The shock of AI, the supply shock of AI, has an effect on demand and supply. We see the effect on demand much more quickly. We see it in the capital investment I referenced. We see it in the prices of chips that are going up. We're inferring, which is just a fancy word for guessing, when the effects will happen on the supply side of the economy. I don't view a one-time change in prices as necessarily being inflationary, because I think there's a supply response. In that way, this is different from a foreign conflict and what it might do, which tends to reduce the supply side of the economy. Will it increase measured prices over the course of the next 12 months? I suspect it will be. But whether that's inflationary or not, that's up to the Federal Reserve, and we're going to have something to say about that.
Okay. Now, one of the interesting things about our economy is becoming more and more productive. But one of the disappointing things is that household pay is not rising relative to that productivity. And we're seeing less benefit from productivity gains. So what's driving this trend?
Yeah, it's a great question. I don't have a perfect answer to it. Like you, we think a lot about real take-home pay. The part that the Fed can do a lot about is the real part. If inflation were lower, real take-home pay would be higher. That's just the arithmetic. Mm-hmm. Your other question's a broader one, which is what are we going to see the productivity improvements lead to a surge in wages? Wages have moved up at a reasonable pace, but it's likely that as productivity moves up more, we should see wages move more. Getting that timing right, understanding when that happens, that's a puzzle, and it's a puzzle we're going to continue to work on.
In the last 10 seconds, will AI eliminate jobs at a catastrophic rate?
So you're asking me to prejudge the task force. My short answer is, over the long term, absolutely not. I believe that this is a long-term job creator, but will it be disruptive? And will some people have their jobs at jeopardy because of the new technologies? On that, I can't offer any sort of guarantee or comfort.
Senator
Thank you.
Britt.